Alright, looking at Taka's. Taka? Yeah, Taka. I wrote it down as Yaka accidentally before, and I'm like, Yaka? No, it's Taka. Sorry, I'm a goof. Alright, looking at your high and low detail entry. At first, and I thought this too, you can kind of see the edge of the skybox over there. I wish you couldn't. Over in this direction, seeing the glow around the base of the sky is okay. It's kind of like, light pollution. So that's okay, but you can see the seams over here. I do wish that you had filled it up with something, even just more trees from the sky cards would be fine. I could see the seam in the 3D skybox here, which is crazy, right? Because like you're like, wow, this scene is really small. Boom, skybox right there. That's crazy. So, uh, the control panel to this door is really bright, and it almost makes me feel like you didn't build HDR cube maps, or if you did, that those tiled, if those textures reflections are just too bright, you can make your own. If you use if you look up like VMT ENV cube map settings, you'll be able to like fine tune how reflective something is in HDR or LDR. I would do that on those textures if you did build HDR cube maps, or just apply the cube map to that in a really dark spot like we're over here where there's no lighting. Um, just because that's very bright, and there's a lot of bright things in the underground parts that have the same problem. It's just kind of distracting. It's a small problem though. That's really cool. You can see like the animation, the sequencing, the light flickers on in here. That brightness on that door is a little distracting. I never really took a good look at this room when I first came in, but I do like it. This box is really dark for some reason. I think I've had a problem like that on my discovery map, where something in particular, I had to like I had set the lighting point to be something in the bright area, and it was still dark. I'm like, I don't get it. And I think at that point I just deleted it and remade it and added the light uh, origin again, and then it worked. So if you're having that problem, I guess just try deleting it and remaking it. I don't know. Sometimes Source just doesn't. I guess. I wish there was something kind of else in this room. Some sort of like poster, something I could read. If there's some name of something like "Do not go to the button." It almost reminds me of that Men in Black scene where, oh, this is yeah, it's a regular building. You know, like what is the purpose of this building if uh, if we weren't allowed access to that elevator? If you could do a little bit of storytelling in this room, I think that'd be really cool. Go into the elevator. Elevator door's a little slow, but that's okay. They're powerful, and I'm really glad that the elevator actually works. You can hear it and gives you that blinking light. Like all this stuff, I'm so glad that you do it. Is it there just like two copies of the elevator, and then you just you just teleport us? Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say because you could just do that. That works really well. Yeah, that does look good. The brightness of these things is a little crazy. Yeah, it just makes me feel like you did build HDR notes, which is fine. I'm not gonna dock you points too much for that. So I really like that effect. The strip, the light strip, that looks really good. I almost wish though that you had continued to use that through something else in the room. Like if you had used a rope or something, or like a custom model, like some tube that went from over there, and there's a couple of them, and they all had like those light glow effects all along it. I think there's some model that has that. I think. I'm trying to think. Maybe not. But like an animated texture, can't you imagine how neat that would be? Just because otherwise it looks like you just kind of took things directly from Junction, which is what I would have done if I was like trying to detail it quickly. But I almost wish that there was something a little bit more unique in this room. Although I do wonder that if those windows over there were less brightly reflective, if it would be fine that there was less of a focus in this room because there's a focus in that room over there, but I can't otherwise really look and see. So that's a bit disappointing. I guess the room generally, assuming that the window's like a solid wall because I can't see through it right now, the room is also a little bit bright. Like the ceiling is a little bit bright, which is kind of weird. I wonder in the past, when it was less bright, or has it always been bright? Did you ever experiment with making it darker? It's just a little bit noticeably bland, and it kind of draws my attention from the center of the room up to the ceiling where it's bland. And the windows help with that, or nerf that. This is cool. This window, this panel missing. Sorry, my burp. It does look really good. It's weird because that effect, I feel like it must have taken someone a long time to put that together. That simple thing. Right? Yeah, like I say, oh, it's simple. Oh, that took me like an hour and a half, dude. Because it looks good. Looks very intentional. If I was doing anything else, maybe some scratches or like, like why is the panel off? Maybe there's like some people that are doing construction on here or something like that. The wall, just the top of it, is a little bit bland looking. Maybe you could have done, if it was like less bright or there's some sort of particle effect associated with this. I'm not sure what it would be. Even just like sparking, like occasional sparking, or like maybe you hear like as you like approach it, some sort of like it's a magnet something or other, or like you hear like some like communications or something like that, and you can see like it was connected to something else in the room and it was a little bit like that actually had like a purpose. But as just a way to fill the corner of the room, I think it looks good actually. Like in a traditional map, I think people would just go past this and go, oh yeah, thumbs up, looks good. But in a detail entry, I think you could do just a little bit more. I'm a little harsh on you here, I guess, about that relatively, because I just looked at Void's map last, the Void 2, and he used so much particle effects. It's like, oh my god. I probably shouldn't. I should have saved Void's for last because his is just too much work. Too much. This room looks good. So this lower hallway here, I really like that you have that. I don't think I've ever seen that in another TF2 map where the light actually flickers. Is that animated? Like a model? Is that animated? Must just be on the timer, right? Like a random timer, flicker on and off. It looks really good, dude. Yeah, man. That looks really good. I wish though that this effect of like janky, almost not really held together feeling could have been uh, explored a little bit more. Explored, is that the right word? It just used a bit more in these hallways. Because like janky held together, I think of like rumbling earthquakes. Like maybe like something's like coming by, and you're like, ooh, it's like barely held together. Maybe like one of the other lights is flickering as well, like occasionally, but only when it rumbles, and you see like swaying of the env underscore wind of like some ropes in here or something, or it could have been a model, I guess. The stain looks good, that one single stain there. I'm glad that you looked in like every corner for something. Ooh, there's like ripple in the water. Something down here would have been kind of cool, I guess. There's a drain here, a bigger drain, or like an actual like entrance to some sewer drain in here. Could have been cool, and you can see like some crocodile in the background or some skeleton hand crawling, clawing his way out. If you haven't seen the movie, oh boy, it's an anime movie. It's like the Wolf Brigade. Wolf Brigade. If you look up "Incident in the Sewer" on YouTube, look that up. It's like some scene. It's got like 1 million views now, for some reason. I don't know why it's so popular, but Jiro and the Wolf Brigade. That's it. Put some essence of that in these sewers. I think that'd be really, really cool. I do like that there's like this scene over here, and you can't even really use it, because it's like so far away. But I like that. Yeah, I have no problems, no qualms with that. Qualm. Wow, that looks really good. That's a good use of those textures. That's really good. The door's a little jank. I don't like that I have to be like so close to it because I can't really appreciate the view that it offers beyond the door. The silo room, it looks like you put a lot of work into it, although the lighting right above us is a little too subtle, I think. It's a little bit like not extreme enough. There's not enough tone going on in the room. It does look like you put a lot of work into it, though. I know like these radial things of just like putting arches in and then just like copying and pasting and doing a lot of math to get it all involved. It is a very involved process, so I appreciate you putting so much work into it. It must have taken so long to get all this in properly. But yeah, the brushes, the geo, that looks good. And the lower area of this looks pretty good. I guess these lights are a little bit bright and too white. Ooh, I like the flicker in that over here. Oh, I really like that. Use that girl's calendar thing as like a poster, like a card on the desk. I've never seen that in a map before. So that's cool. Pardon me. I guess this room is a little bit too empty. I kind of wish there's like a chalkboard or some easel with some plans going on it from like 2-Fort Invasion or something like that. And I wish that, and this is just like wouldn't it be cool if the laser that's down there, you kind of see sometimes, if that went off, if there was some way like the sequencing earlier that we saw to trigger it and like fires in the sky and pulses green up there, something crazy like the Aurora Borealis gets caused by this laser being fired. Or maybe that's the cause of the earthquakes and the jinkiness. There isn't like a way to cause that, right? I'm not like missing something. I won't like bump into something. Otherwise, it is really cool though. But I do kind of wish that lighting was a bit more dramatic up there. I was thinking about if you had made these just a bit brighter, but I think I agree with you that them being a little bit more subtle and just poignantly positioned around the lights themselves, like more of just accents to the area would be better. But I guess accents contrasting to what? To gray, to dark gray of the upper areas and white of the spotlights. I guess that's a little bit too boring, I guess. Something like green or purple, or like some essence of it pulsing, or like coming from underneath this, if there's like, you can like see into there and it's like there's like a rave dance going on in there. It's like, oh my god, this is crazy. I almost kind of wish it was a bit more overwhelming, especially coming off of Void's map last. Void's detailing was like overwhelming. It was just, it's really crazy because there's a lot of maps that I've played. Straight up, like there's a lot of maps that I've played, like over like 3,000 TF2 maps. And it's always really kind of remarkable when a map doesn't even play that well, and then it gets a detail treatment, and you're like, oh wow, this map is actually good now, even though it's the same layout. And it's a weird sort of effect where if you just make the detail like overwhelmingly good, then people start to think it's like a good map, even if the geo is kind of weird. I almost kind of wonder, man, Void's map is making me all philosophical. Shit, I'm sorry. I should have taken a break. The door is cool. The door is really cool. I think you put so much work into the sequencing in this map. Oh wow, the shadow up there. That shadow looks pretty good, dude. I like that you put work into the space, and then you walked through it and go, what else can I do? What else can I change? What else can I add? And then you added those things. Like, there's those subtleties in it that I really appreciate that you did that, because it does pay off. I think a bit more of that could make this really cool. But it does look really good. And I really appreciate the sequencing. Those things, especially to like a newer mapper. I don't know how new you are. You've been around a while. But I remember when I tried to do those sorts of things when I like first started, those like sequencing sort of events, like I've always wanted to do one of those things. And they're like hard, they're like time consuming. It takes a while to do that. So I appreciate that you did that. Because that stuff takes a while. It's surprising how long that stuff takes. But yeah, good job, dude. It looks good. I just noticed I've been going for 15 minutes, so I'll end it now.